Intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional too. Most times when the spark begins to fade, it's always easy to chalk it up to life getting in the way, the kids, the job, the stress, bills to pay, and what have you. Marriage is beautiful, but it's not easy. There are signs and red flags that couples often overlook until it's too late. In this video, I'll be sharing 5 marriage red flags that no one talks about, but trust me, they are huge. You may want to stay to the end because number 5 is the one that couples completely miss, and this can make or break your marriage. My name is Amarachi. This is Live Binary. If you're new, watching me for the first time, I'm happy to meet you. Thank you for clicking on this video. It means a lot. And if you're a returnee, hey, thank you for always tuning in. I really appreciate your support on this journey. Now, let's dive into the video. One of the biggest red flags is emotional distance. Maybe all of a sudden, your partner isn't sharing as much as they used to, and you begin to give excuses. Or maybe it's just a phase, or maybe he's busy, or maybe she's busy, or maybe it's because of this project. You allow it, you don't talk about it, not knowing that this shallow and distance in communication can lead to a serious issue. And do you know why? Once there's a break in communication, there's resentment. Resentment will begin to build in your heart. Have you ever imagined a situation whereby maybe your partner does something wrong to you and you guys haven't talked about it? Do you imagine the kind of thoughts that comes to your mind? For me, I experience it. Sometimes if I and my husband are having issue, or maybe he did something wrong but haven't talked about it, right? To understand his own perspective, a lot of thoughts begin to come into my mind. Devil will start speaking to you a lot of things, and you realize that when after talking, having that conversation with your partner, you have a different perspective, and the tension will resolve. You understand? So if you're not having this communication, if you're having shallow communication and breaking communication, all this resentment will begin to build, and the day you will have an argument, it can be disastrous. So in order to avoid this, make sure you detect these red flags on time and work on it. Have a discussion, talk about it immediately to avoid further escalation. Red flag number 2 is contempt in communication. Contempt in communication is deadly. In fact, it can destroy your marriage faster than any behavior. If your partner is constantly sarcastic, is constantly dismissive, or rolling their eyes when you have a conversation, please do not brush this off. Address it immediately, because contempt in communication, if not addressed hands-on, it's very hard. It becomes very hard in the long run to reverse. So try and build love, respect for each other, and empathy. So your partner should be able to show empathy when you're having a conversation with them, and not to roll their eyes like, what is she talking about, or what is he talking about, or show a sign of carefree, I don't care, whatever you're feeling, what are you saying, do you get? So the moment you start seeing those signs in your marriage, address them immediately, because it can break your relationship faster than any behavior. Red flag number 3 is avoiding conflicts. The moment your partner begins to avoid having a very difficult conversation with you, talking about issues, and rather prefer to sweep it under the carpet, it's a huge red flag, and you need to address it immediately. Because the moment you begin to sweep problems under the carpet, it becomes like a ticking time bomb, and when it explodes, it becomes very disastrous. I have someone that confided in me, and she was having issues with her husband, and they were not able to talk about it. Anytime she brings up the matter, he dismisses it, doesn't want to talk about it, because to him, he said he doesn't want problem, he wants peace, and that's not the best way to have peace. Before you know it, it turned out to be that it built so much resentment between them, and they could no longer settle the issue. You understand? They could not settle it easily. So when there is a conflict is part of life, actually. Even the siblings born of the same mother, you argue, you have problem, you have disagreements, you talk about it, you come back together. Talk more of couples from different backgrounds and different orientation. So conflict is part of life. Once there's a conflict, the best thing is to address it immediately. Don't allow the sleeping dog lie. This is my usual phrase. Don't allow the sleeping dog lie. And I'm also practicing it. If I have issue with my husband, I talk about it. I don't sleep with it. No, I don't sleep on it. We talk about it and settle so that your mind can be free, because it's even a burden. And once this burden, it builds resentment that may blow up to something that you may not be able to control in future. Red flag 4 is lack of intimacy. Intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional too. Most times when the spark begins to fade, it's always easy to chalk it up to life getting in the way, the kids, the job, the stress, bills to pay, and what have you. But when there's a long-term break, a long-term lack of intimacy, be it physical, be it emotional, it can indicate that the connection that you have is faltering. So don't allow things to get worse before you begin to handle them. When there's a long-term break in communication, when there's a long-term break in intimacy, it can indicate that that connection that you guys have, it's no longer there. The feelings you share, the love, or something is wrong. So don't wait until things begin to get worse, or things becomes very bad before you begin to address them. Have an honest conversation with your partner. Talk about things. What is happening? What is the issue? What has changed over the years or over the months in your marriage? What is the way forward? Then you come together, talk about it, and find a way to bring back that connection back. Find a way to reconnect. It's very important. Intimacy is something, it's like a glue that binds your relationship together. So if you notice that there's a distance, lack of intimacy, address it immediately, like right now. Red flag number 5 is living separate lives. This one can be a little bit sneaky. Why? Because it's something that happens gradually. You begin to live parallel lives, focusing on your own interests, hanging out with your own friends, keeping your own friends, and even vacationing separately. When you begin to feel that you're like roommates instead of partner, then that's a huge red flag. I've seen couples get comfortable with living their own lives, going about their routine, their interests and all. And before you know it, the gap between them will keep growing, getting wider and wider until it becomes very difficult to cross. So the moment you start noticing that you're doing things separate from your partner is doing things separate from you, yes, we all know marriage shouldn't stop you from following your interests, from doing your hobby or hanging out with your friends. But when it becomes too much to the point that you hardly have time to spend with your partner, you don't do things together again with your partner, then that's a huge problem. You need to address it immediately before it escalates and break your marriage, because this one easily, slowly, gradually destroys your marriage. It will get to a point where both of you will no longer fit for each other. You will no longer, like I said, the gap will become so wide that you can't cross it. And when this happens, it can break marriage faster than you can think of. These red flags might seem small at first, but they can snowball into a big issues if not addressed. So whenever you see any of these red flags in your relationship, address them immediately. If you're seeing any of them currently, start to address them today. So viewers, let me know which of these red flags have you ever experienced in your relationship, or even someone you've noticed from somebody else's relationship. Let me know in the comment section. And if you feel that this video was helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share your thoughts, like I said, and subscribe if you haven't. Share the video to those that you feel that may need this advice. And thank you for watching. See you in the next video.